SpaceX is planning to launch their massive Starship rocket next week on the 14th of March at around 7:30 a.m. in the morning. So let's get ready for this. I have some information to share with you. We're going to talk about the flight restrictions. We're going to be talking about where the flight is actually going to land this time and what's going to be happening during this flight. There's some really cool and interesting technology that SpaceX is going to reveal during this next flight. And as Starship is being prepared for this gigantic launch, SpaceX has taken the Starship itself off of the booster, put it next to it, and they've armed the flight termination system, which is the mechanism they use to explode the rocket during flight if anything were to go wrong. SpaceX posted an update on their website about this third test flight and that they're going to build on what they've learned from previous flights. Now, they said they're including a successful ascent burn on both stages, opening and closing Starship's payload door, which they're going to be using for Starlink in the future, and a propellant transfer demonstration during the upper stages coast phase, which is more than likely used for the Artemis, NASA's program that will be getting humans back to the moon. Now, this will be the first ever relight of a Raptor engine while in space as well, and a controlled re-entry of the Starship. Now, before, the Starship was supposed to land in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Hawaii, but this time it will possibly land in the Indian Ocean, according to Jonathan McDowell. That's at Planet4589 on X or Twitter. Ellie in Space, one of our friends here on the channel, she said, "Why do you think they made the change from Hawaii to the Indian Ocean?" Jonathan McDowell on X said, "They're testing firing the Raptor for a second burn, possibly a deorbit burn, but of course, as usual, they haven't provided any real details of the trajectory of the flight, such as perigee or apogee before and after the burn. So annoying." I mean, they can't really do that because it's kind of a top, not, I wouldn't say top secret, but they're working with the government with these things, with NASA, so they can't really tell you where they're going to be going in particular. There's another comment here that says, "This leaves a lot of room if the engines fail to fire for the quasi-deorbit burn. If so, where in the Pacific would the ship land?" And thanks for posting this. Jonathan McDowell said, "My guess is it still lands in the Indian Ocean, not the Pacific. The deorbit burn likely is small, and the length of the NOTAM area corresponds to the range of complete burn to no burn." So the NOTAM basically is where the rocket's going to be headed, and it's a stay out of that region area. And Lynch Silla says, "Is the landing anywhere near Diego Garcia?" Jonathan McDowell says, "Yes, it's on the same planet." "Oh, you're not an astronomer?" "No, it's over 2,000 kilometers away." So 2,000 kilometers away from Diego Garcia. Jonathan McDowell is really great on X Twitter, Planet4589, if you want to give him a follow. And now let's take a look at the road closures for Highway 4, where the Starship is located. On March 14th, they have between 12 a.m. and 2 p.m. possible closure. That's when SpaceX says they are ready to launch the rocket. March 15th, another one, and March 16th as well, all from 12 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, SpaceX says they want to launch at around 7:30 in the morning. Now, as we know, rocket launches more than likely don't go at the time that they're supposed to go. So sometimes it could take an hour, maybe 2 hours to get these things right. So up until 2 gives them a little bit of padding to launch the rocket for that day. So they have 3 days to do this, 14th, 15th, and 16th at this point, but they could get an extension. They could get other dates. Now, mind you, the FAA has not approved this SpaceX flight as of this recording. So these are numbers. These are dates that SpaceX is not guaranteeing, but they're hoping for the best from the FAA. And they're in direct contact with the FAA. So there's probably somebody at the FAA said, "Yeah, we'll probably be done before the 14th. So it should be safe for you to say that you can launch on the 14th, SpaceX. We just have a few more things to button up, and then you'll be ready to go." And right here is the actual proof. "I have ordered the closure of Boca Chica Beach and Highway 4 for the purpose of protecting public health and safety during SpaceX's flight activities on March 14th, 2024, in the time period between 12 a.m. CST and 2 p.m. CST. They're closing the roads officially here. This is from the government of Cameron County itself. They say SpaceX may use the alternative dates to complete its testing activities. Now, the important part is that it says public health and safety during SpaceX flight activities, not testing activities, but flight. They're going to be flying something that day. So SpaceX is ready to fly this. And next up, we have some more proof that SpaceX isn't quite ready yet with the FAA. This is the FAA's TFR list. Now, the TFR list is it's a document that the Federal Aviation Administration puts out to tell people to stay away from this flight, to say, hey, we're going to fly this gigantic rocket into the Gulf of Mexico area and further on. So don't float your boats, don't fly your planes in there. It's a keep out zone for everybody. Now, as you can see from at this point, we don't have authorization from the FAA for a TFR for Starship. The closest we have for Starship is way down here. Last year, actually, Brownsville, Texas, 2/27/24 was security detail, but the last one was last year when they did the last Starship flight. So it's a keep out zone, not updated yet. So as we can see right now, SpaceX isn't quite ready to fly the Starship according to the government of the United States. And I wanted to jump back to the SpaceX website real quick before we get out of here. As you can see, payload door open at 11 minutes and 56 seconds into the flight here. Propellant transfer demo during the door being open. Payload door closes about 17 minutes later, 16 or 17 minutes later. That's a long time for a payload door to be open in space for the first demonstration flight. What if something happens? What if something freezes up? I mean, it is space. So they're doing a lot of testing right here in this same amount of time, 11:56 to 28:21. Door opens, propellant transfer demo happens, door closes, and then about 12 minutes later, Raptor in space relight demo happens. This is all happening within a 30-minute-ish time range. And then about 10 minutes later, Starship starts entering and going back to Earth. This is going to be a wild ride from the from the 12-minute mark on. The whole flight is going to be wild, and hopefully they have onboard cameras to show us what's going on. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to yet, because it might be Department of Defense things that they're working on. We're not 100% sure. The payload door could be Starlink, could be something that they're working on with the Department of Defense. SpaceX works with the Department of Defense, and they've been working on them with Starship. So more than likely Starlink, but you can't rule out that this is kind of a secret thing. But they do tell you that the payload doors are opening, but we might not get visuals. It's kind of tricky there, right? So let me know what you think. Do you think it's going to be successful? IFT3, 100% successful. I think it's going to be 20% successful. Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you think, because I think this is going to be perfect flight. 100% perfect flight. Nothing's going to go wrong in this flight. I'm going to give 2 thumbs up to Starship, 2 thumbs up to SpaceX and their engineers. Everything's going to work perfect. Except for the booster, I think the booster is going to blow up, and I think the Starship's going to make it to the Indian Ocean, but not in one piece. I think it's going to be in pieces in the Indian Ocean. Let me know what you think down below. And if you like spaceflight content, hit the like and the subscribe button, because not only will you get this content from me, but you'll also get other spaceflight reporters that you may not have heard from, because the algorithm will pick this up. They'll see that you like this. They'll see you like Starship. And who knows, you might get other Starship reporters that you really love. So take care, everybody, and I will see you in the next one.